Hello everyone, welcome back. Today, obviously, as you read from the name of the video, we will be working on Tetris some more. And one of the goals I wanted to accomplish today was we have an almost playable game now. And there's a couple things I want to do. One of them being so far we have been like statically setting the blocks that drop down, and it's always been the same block, and then if we want to change it, then we go into the code and we hard code it to something else. Obviously that's not how the game works. The game drops blocks randomly, and they also auto fall. So I'm hoping we can add those two things in today, and if we can get that in, then I will tell you about my little surprise at the end, hopefully. Alright, so onwards. So as you've seen, come on over to this window, over here, there we go. Alright, resize, there we go. As you've seen, we have our blocks, they come down, they fall into place, they correctly follow the bottom, they join the bottom, stuff like that. So that's good. We are doing well there, but it is time for us to actually start getting some of this stuff to happen automatically now. So first thing that we want is a different block every time we ask for a new block, basically. So how have we been doing it so far? We in our index.js we're pressing N, and when we press N we get a new block. Okay. Well, I think that this needs to be extracted into the board itself, so we can call like board.newBlock, and then we get basically a new block coming out. So let's do that. So we got self.new block equals a function that let's see. Oh, this is block. We don't want block.newBlock. We want board.newBlock. Alright, let me get to the right file. Board. Here we go. Draw. Have that here. Self.newBlock equals a function. I guess we can pass in the board that it's going to go on. Wait, we are on the board. We don't need to pass in a board. We are on the board. Okay. And basically it's just going to be kind of the same thing. So it's going to be self.blocks 0 equals new block, and then we need to randomly select the shape from the seven shapes that we have. So we're going to try just doing math.random. Right? And then I believe that the trick is you take math.random and you multiply it. Yeah, we can just do that in here. You multiply it by how many you have that are possible. So 6. So, oh, and then you take that value and you floor it. So we will say math.floor. And I think some of the stuff's not going to come out. Like I think the top one, yeah, we'll try it, right? Give it a shot, right? Okay, so we have a new block, and we're going to make them, for the moment, we're going to make them always come in at, let's see, so 3, What's our board is 10 across, and 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then subtract another like 1, and so 4 for the x, and y being what is our y? Our y is it needs to be for now 18, because we're not handling the situation where it's coming in from off the top, and part of it is not actually on the board. So we do need to kind of handle that. Our collision detection obviously wouldn't like that, and so kind of the collision detection would have to be a little bit changed. But this should potentially give us a new block every time that we call it, and it should be a different block than we're usually getting. So we'll go back to the index.js, and we will, when we press the letter N, we should get self.newBlock. Sorry, not self, board. Okay, so let's give this a shot. Where did that go? It just came and went. There it is. Alright, press N, we get a block, move that down a little. Alright, place that in the bottom. Press N again, look, we get a different block. So just a little bit of code, and we start getting something that obviously is a little more like Tetris, where we're getting actual pieces. Sometimes they're coming more than once. Oh, that was strange. I guess we'd never tested that, right? So obviously there are still a couple bugs. Let me see what happened here. Yeah, so we're not checking block on block collision, apparently. So there's a bug right there. But we can get to that. Yeah, and we're starting to get somewhat of a variety of blocks. They're not too various, but enough to show that we are getting, you know, that equation probably needs to be changed a little bit, but we're getting somewhere, right? Okay, so enough with that for the moment. So now that we've got new block, right, we need to get the blocks to kind of auto fall and like auto start moving down as the game is going on. So what that's going to require is there's two ways to do this. One is we can use the tick, and we can just do like a count up of the tick, and then just do like implement a counter on it, and then when the counter hits a certain number, then we just drop the block down a space, which is probably the way we're going to go. The other way we can do it is we can set a completely separate interval that is the move the block down interval. I think that what I'd like to do is we're going to use the engine that's already running, so that if we were to, for whatever reason, speed up the game, slow down the game, we don't have two things to speed up or slow down, we just have one. So if this is every 100 milliseconds, it's not exact, about every 100 milliseconds, we probably want to hit this tick to happen every 10 times, or every 10 times we want to drop the block down. So that should be about once, or basically about every second, because 1,000 milliseconds is about a second. Well, it is a second, but these intervals are not, don't trust them. They it's somewhere between half a second, or this is somewhere between like 80 and 120 milliseconds. It just it depends on the JavaScript runtime, and especially if your computer's like getting bogged down, like this will go really slow, and stuff like that. So don't depend on these things. If you set up a clock that does it the right way, and then a timer that does this, supposed to do the same thing, you'll see that they don't. So this one will always lag behind. So don't ever trust these, but they are good for approximations. And this is all we need, really. We're just looking for an approximation. We're not trying to get exact, and we're not trying to measure time out, a week from now and still be accurate. So that's what we will do. Okay, so now, so basically the way to do that is, so we've got a board up here, and we're going to do a, let's see, we'll call it the block move counter for now. And we'll set that equal to 0. And then in here, we're probably going to want to do it right before the block, the clear, and we do want it to pick up. We want it to be above the blob, the check blob rows, because if it falls down into one, we want it to, confirm that that in fact did hit the bottom. And if it's above the clear, then I doubt it, but there might be a bit of a blink. So we're going to place it right in between, and basically we let's see, I want to kind of keep this a little bit or where's the best place to put this? Should this go in here? I think it should, because it's more of an engine function than it is putting it on the block. The block just handles its own movement, whereas this is more like figuring out when to call the block to move down. So I don't think it's appropriate to go in here. It definitely should be in here. So we will call basically a function called increment block move counter, or we'll call it maybe auto block move. Something somewhat descriptive, right? And let's go ahead and pass the value in. Well, no, because we're going to be editing it. So down here we will create a function called the same thing, obviously, function auto block move, and basically it's going to go if block move, sorry, we need to increment, so block move counter plus plus, and then if it's greater than 10, or 9 really, because it starts at 0, no, we'll go with 10, we'll see what that looks like. So if it's greater than 10, then we want to set it back to 0. Block move counter equals 0, as well as actually moving the block. So now we can say board blocks 0. Well, there's one scenario we need to handle here, and that's the block has already finished, it's been removed, and a new block needs to come in now. So that will be if that is null, then we're going to create a new block. So we'll say board and call that new function we just created new block, and else then we're going to create board dot blocks, or sorry, yeah, board dot blocks 0 dot move down, and pass in the board because that's what that requires. Alright, so what should happen here? Block move counter. O-U-N-T-E-R. Okay. So now what this should do is, well, just what we said it will do. So let's give it a shot. If we run this, we should pretty much immediately see the result. And okay, and we should be able to move left and move right, and we should be able to rotate, and we should be able to move down faster, and then it should auto click into place, and another one should appear at the top. Look at that. So we pretty much have a functioning game. And yeah, we could sit here and play this. Sadly though, we still have this little bug here that we need to take care of. But for the time being, it's starting to look a lot more like a Tetris game than when we started, obviously. So look at that. That was definitely not the intended behavior. So yeah, we got some. We definitely have some bugs, but we've got the beginnings of a playable Tetris game that's automatically moving on its own. Good. So I guess that means we've made it to our goal, and I can now tell you about my little surprise. And my little surprise is I would like help from all of you. So inside, obviously you guys saw me create this, and I want to open this up. I want to open this. Let's work on this together. So I'm going to push my latest code up. We'll git add everything, git commit. Let's see, adding adding auto block movement. All right, and we will git push origin master. And also, you guys are going to need some place to actually start playing with it. So yeah, you could pull it down and you could run it locally. That's great. Or we could just, I could just throw it up on GH Pages. For those of you who haven't used GH Pages, it is super simple to use and really, again, really simple. And it's just a great way to serve static sites and static files and stuff like that. So basically all you do is create a branch. So you want to do a git checkout -b for a new branch, and type gh-pages. It must be exactly that or this won't work. So we've now switched to that branch. That branch is now up to date with the master. And then we do git push origin gh pages. And that will push that up to the GH Pages. Now it says that it can take up to like 30 minutes to run, but it actually runs it actually runs pretty quickly. So basically what you do is you can take this piece of the URL, paste it on the front, place a dot, change the com to IO, and then remove the username. And that becomes the URL for the site. And we got a little bit of an issue here. It cannot find Bower Components jQuery distribute jQuery min, and says that jQuery is not defined. So it's very possible that I have git ignored sorry, the jQuery stuff, the Bower. Yes, I have ignored the Bower component. So I'm going to add that back in. Usually you would leave that stuff out, but since I am, since I'm trying to have it run on the site and share it with you guys, and I don't really feel like going through a build process to correctly compile this stuff, I'm just going to throw the the Bower components on there. So git add, git commit, adding back Bower components, and git push origin and GH pages. Alright. Now another question is, well, now my GH pages is up to date, but my master's lagging behind. How do I fix that? Well, you would need to merge. So you want to git check out your master, or where you want to go to. So it's like you want to perform this function where you are from. So wherever your PWD is, which I guess PWD, that doesn't matter because you're always in the same folder. But whatever your branch is, you want to be pulling from another branch to your branch. It's a little backwards. When I started, I always thought, oh, well, when I use the merge command, I'm going to push to that other branch. And that's not the case. You actually pull from it. So if you always remember that it's a pull, you're sucking in the changes, then you'll always get it right. So we are on master, and we want to get merge GH pages, and that'll pull the changes over from GH pages into master. And so now we can get push origin master, and it should throw all that stuff up there. And then we should be able to go over to our actual GitHub repository. And that is here. And you'll see that now we have our Bower components in here. And if we refresh this page, we now have our working game. So, for those of you who've watched the video series, you can now go to this URL here and play with it. I'm going to be nice and place it right on the README here. I'm also probably off camera. I don't consider this being part of the project. I will probably update some of this README, and I'm going to go ahead and put in a couple issues right now to kind of show that process. So for those who haven't really used the issue tracking stuff, then so there's the link for that if you don't want to switch the URL around. Yeah, so for those who haven't used the issues tracking stuff before, it's really interesting and really nice, actually. One of the nicer bug tracking systems that I've seen. It's just really simple. I know that there's lots of more complex things, and when you get in with really big teams and stuff like that, and start dealing with project managers and other departments and stuff like that, this might not be what you want for that. But if you're just doing, really simple bug tracking for your things, it's really simple and it's really nice. So one of our issues is, and basically you just click new issue, and you can mark it as a bug. You can assign it to someone. You can create a milestone, which is like either a version number or maybe a date on a calendar, a release date, or alpha, beta, release candidate 1, 2, 3, or you can give it an actual version number, and it'll kind of keep track of some of the stuff in your milestones and let you know basically when you reach your, when you get these 10 bugs closed out, then you're good to go for this particular milestone. So you can kind of do some project planning and importance planning and stuff like that on the milestones. All right, so basically your bugs are fully markdown supported, so you can type things like stars around words. You can put underscores around words, and you'll see what it does. As well as you can put things, basically put a star and then item 1 and star item 2, and then you can even put like code blocks, and then you can even do like full code blocks. Alright, and basically what that looks like is, the stars become bold and the underscores become italic. This creates a list. Here's an inline piece of code, and then here's an actual like block piece of code. So a couple little things you can do in there to kind of spice it up and make it look a little easier when you're writing your bugs. All right, so bugs for Tetris. Things that we need to do. Well, obviously there was that annoying bug that everything kind of stacks on top of each other. So basically it's we need to implement block versus block collision detection. So, and then put a little bit of detail. So currently blocks will simply pass through each other. So then we'll also create another issue, and that one will be, let's see, block rotation is off-centered. So current block rotation is off-center and is very noticeably odd. Apparently I can't spell. Aha. Okay, and we'll place this under a bug and submit that. Alright, and then we'll create another issue for, let's see, grid, let's see, yeah, board needs to be responsive. Currently the board is set to a static height and width and needs to be responsive. All right, and that's well, that's more of an enhancement than a bug. Okay, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna continue going through creating a couple more bugs and stuff, and I am very excited to be opening this up. And I would really, really appreciate it if you guys would, like to contribute to some of this. I would love to have some pull requests to go over in the videos, and as well as just in general, getting the community out there. So I've taken this thing this far, and I will continue working on this. And I'd love for those of you who have been watching the series and have been really excited about it. Now's your chance to jump in and start. To start contributing to some of this stuff. You've seen me build this code from the ground up, and if you're confused about why I did something, go back and watch that episode. If you are, if you want to try your hand at collision detection, please go in and try. Everything and anything that is in this code base is open to readjustment. Please go in and fix something that I did wrong. Change the rotation to a completely different method. As long as it works, great. I would love to get your guys' input on this. I'd love to get questions about this. Leave issues. If you find bugs, please test it out, play with it. If you find something that isn't already in the issues, create an issue for it. I'd love to start getting some community, behind this. And, again, you've seen this from the ground up, so it should be pretty familiar code base. If you're trying to get into open source and you're just not really sure how, or you even want your name on something, every contributor will have their name put on the final product. So if you want to get your name on this game, come in and write some code. Come in and put something down. Add some tests. If you want to play around with unit tests, add some unit tests. If you want to play around with some CSS, maybe you want to change the colors. I would love to see the colors change from being what they are to something else. I would also love to see maybe give them a little more definition instead of just being red and blue and yellow. Maybe change them to maybe look like blocks, or have some sort of design. Give them a border or something. Maybe put a little bit of a shadow behind them. That might not look so good in the grid, but play with it. If you want to change the grid, turn it into a different style. Please fork the repository. Go out there, get in the code base, start playing with the code, figure some things out, do some changes. I am open to every suggestion. write anything you want, add any features. Don't worry about me not being able to cover something because you guys did it. Like, I will still go over all the code that comes in, and um, I will still be working on this, and I will still be making videos. So I'd love for this to kind of evolve into a more mature game, and I've actually got some pretty interesting ideas of things I haven't seen out there yet. So I'm thinking evil computer type stuff. So we're gonna, if once we get this kind of playable, then we can start playing with some AI and getting the maybe an opponent or the computer to start kind of playing against you or messing with you, so it makes it harder or something. So yeah, please come in, contribute, have fun, look around, play with it. It's up, it's live. I'm going to leave it there, and any updates that we do will be pulled right in, and you can see it on the live server. So again, if you're looking for something to play with, this is a great little project, and I'd love to have you guys contribute to it and leave feedback and stuff. So please get in, create issues, create code, have fun, and I will see you guys next time.